Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought would be a really good day to discuss where I'm going with my training. I've had a lot of people who I've chatted with who are like, you really have to bring back the Orc Mode thing, and I agree, I liked it, I loved the name. And I think for me, I'm going to ease back into my concurrent periodization. I've been planning to do this for months, but I had to kind of set my base up in a way to utilize it correctly. And I love the whole orc mode training thing. And I think for me, a lot of what I like to do with my own concurrent periodization is understanding modern exercise science, making it all work together, taking the stuff from the West Side Barbell guys and applying it more to raw lifting, and incorporating some of the elements that guys like Jamie Lewis use. Because again, we're dealing with a certain mindset, and that mindset can carry over into philosophy, and I enjoy a lot of that. And what people need to remember when this comes up, everyone who has followed me for more than 3 or 4 years actually knew I was going to go back to concurrent periodization because this is my standard pattern. Uh, and I actually love West Side style templates without necessarily following what West Side does because I think it is for equipped lifters and there's a lot of things you have to do different for just being big and strong raw. But they do emphasize the importance of concurrent periodization, or as they call it, conjugate periodization. That's their version. It's called the conjugate method. But like I said, it is about getting all around strong, and they do emphasize that. But I think that they put too much focus on accommodating resistance and too much exercise variation on the main lifts. But their supplemental lifts, a lot of it does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, but you have to gear it towards your specific goals. And I think for the orc mode training, it is going to be about getting big and strong, having maximum lifts with my big four, not the big three, the big four, because that's going to include the press. And just achieving all around maximum body composition to go with it. So, what is it that I'm going to be doing? Well, I'm going to be running 4-day templates. Are we going to call it upper lower? Yeah, but is it really going to be upper lower? No, because even them, they'll do back work on upper and lower days. Like they'll do rows and pull-ups on both types of days. They'll do face pulls on both types of days. Because we need the orc thing, we need bigger biceps. And that's, again, people like that on YouTube. They want you to have bigger arms. I'm probably going to do cheat curls almost every day I'm in the gym, right? Even my squat and deadlift days. So what I will probably be doing is rotating back and forth on my secondary days, my non-max effort days between dynamic effort and the repetition method. So I'm going to be doing, obviously, 2 max effort days every week. And a lot of those I might start out with doubles and triples. It might not be going to 1 rep maxes. But I had to rebuild my squat, my lower back, all that stuff after those pulls. And I had to get my diet and everything in place. Had to get my work capacity up to even accomplish this sort of training again. I love concurrent style training, but you do not go into it without having a proper base. And in my case, having pulled muscles in my lower back when my squat dropped back down under 300 pounds that's a problem. Now, I will have multiple workouts uploaded before this video goes live. That's the beauty of me being 2 weeks ahead in my informative videos. People don't always realize that, but these videos that you're watching, the informative ones, they're a lot of times 9 days, 10 days. In some cases, they could be 2 weeks old by the time you're seeing them. They sit on my computer that long. So looking at this one, it's going to be timed hopefully a few days before I'm scheduled to start doing my concurrent training. So it'll give people an idea of what's coming. But yeah, we're going to call it orc mode, and we're going to keep that philosophy going with the training. We'll keep that philosophy going with the nutrition and the diet, because I'm going to continue cutting. And I'm returning back to a lot of my roots. And again, people who haven't followed me don't realize that other than my health concerns and the LDL cholesterol and people doing them dangerously, meaning I'm not a fan of ketogenic diets for the general population. I don't think they should be promoted for the general population. Have I successfully used keto numerous times in my life? Absolutely. Have I spent 2+ years of my YouTube time while on ketogenic diets? Yes, I did. And people forget that. A lot of people actually are like, you were at your leanest at this point, like when they saw me in the haunted house photos and during that time period. That was a year of ketogenic dieting. But I'm going to keep a certain philosophy with it because I think it's important that we break our emotional attachments to food, and we break this concept of morality with our food. So that I'm going to take the Orc Mode thing a certain direction with that. But the training itself, we're going to be doing concurrent periodization. So I'm going to have a day dedicated to the max bench, and by extension that might include max or really, really heavy pressing, meaning the overhead press. I'm going to have max effort squat and deadlift day. Now, are they going to necessarily be West Side style max effort? No, but it's going to be max effort. We're going to focus on heavy lifting with nearly maximum weights on those 2 days every week. My other days are going to be geared towards the other side of the concurrent equation, which is your training volume or your non-max effort work. At first, I may not be doing any dynamic effort. I might do purely repetition method. Well, that's going to mean several exercises each workout, a squat and a deadlift base day, and that's also going to be a upper body day. It's going to be bench and row and overhead press. So on those, it's going to focus around doing things like sets of 5 to 8, probably closer to 8, using maybe 4 sets of 8 as a baseline template. So they're going to be my raw lifts. Because if I start rotating eventual other max effort lifts in, or we start doing speed work, we're still going to need days every single month to where we get a lot of volume in on your core exercises. That's going to mean pause benching. It's going to be the standard press. It's going to be a regular barbell squat, not a box squat, not chains and bands, and conventional deadlifting or sumo deadlifting. Right? Because these are our core, these are our base. And if you don't get enough training volume in on these lifts through their full range of motion, with pauses, all of these things, you don't ingrain the motor skills, the technique, you don't build the all-around size that you want. So I will definitely be doing that, and then supplemental lifts. I'm not going to be afraid of doing extra stuff, cheat curls. If I have to, face pulls, side laterals, because again, delts and biceps are going to be very, very important. They're going to be very important for an Orc Mode physique, in addition to getting lean. So do what I have to do, and that works within concurrent training, but particularly your more repetition-oriented days and your dynamic effort days. People tend to do a lot of these smaller movements, even in these training systems, and it works. These guys get jacked. So they'll be in there because it's going to be about maximizing overall hypertrophy. And the volume days are going to be geared towards that. So you're going to rotate back and forth every week between volume and maximum effort work. That's what concurrent periodization is. They're going to have their own individual programming. You program them separately. And then I'm eventually going to rotate in speed work, because that's where you need bands and stuff. Like people who are going to be raw lifters, or they're just trying to get jacked, who are doing a lot of band work and chain work on their big lifts on the heavy days, that's stupid. And I don't know why people like Strap-On promoted that other than trendiness, but it doesn't give you the results you want. Now, for the dynamic effort, and I will eventually probably start rotating once I feel like I have the work capacity up and the overall hypertrophy there, I will probably rotate every other week, at least for a phase. And I may do them in 3-week blocks, but I might start rotating in phases of the dynamic effort work, meaning week 1 will be max effort and then repetition method. Weeks 2 will be max effort and then dynamic effort, which will be speed work with bands and things. Then back to repetition and max effort. Then back to max effort and dynamic, back and forth. So rotating through those other performance elements. But either way, those days are going to be much higher volume than the max effort days, which are going to be about lifting maximum weight. And that's going to be the way that I set this up. And so we're going to call it Orc Mode because it does borrow methods from West Side, but we're going to have a heavy focus on just overall size and strength and a focus on the big 4, meaning it's going to be more geared for raw lifters, because orcs are raw, right? Orcs don't wear knee wraps and squat suits. Orcs are just all around brutally big and strong and jacked. And that's going to be the point. So there's going to be that philosophy in the training, and I want to keep with that because I like it. I like the whole orc thing. And wait till you guys hear about the diet end of talking about the importance of combining pork and cheese together, right? But no, the joking of that aside, that is what we're gonna call Orc Mode training now. We're gonna mess with concurrent periodization, but done for raw lifters and done with a certain element added for certain types of aesthetics looks, which means bigger biceps, bigger delts. You can still focus on all the big lifts, but those other muscles are going to need additional work. And that can be incorporated very, very easily into concurrent style periodization. It works very well. As long as you put everything in the right days so that everything programs correctly and you recover correctly. And then obviously eventually we're going to start doing more GPP work. Now, will I eventually start filming a lot of the GPP work? Probably. And those are going to be on separate days, meaning if I have 4 days dedicated to the other two training elements, we're going to have probably a couple days dedicated to just all around general physical preparedness, which again is things like everything from kettlebell swings to barbell complexes, and just improving general work capacity to go with all of it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.